Hello, my dear friends. How are you doing? Hope you are having an amazing day. Ready for new stories I have for you today? Let's go to the first one. Buckle up, as it's a long one, and of course, listen to the end of the story to hear my insights. Enjoy the stories, and don't forget to like and subscribe. And of course, don't forget to leave a comment. Backstory. My 30 male, girlfriends, 29 female, grandfather owned a company and had done fairly well for himself. So when my girlfriend's older sisters, 36 female, twins, turned 30, he bought 2 houses to let them live there rent-free on the condition they saved their money and buy the house off him and the company. Planning to do the same for my girlfriend and younger sister when they turned 30. First sister was able to save up and buy the house with her husband. Now for the second house, enter ex-brother-in-law, 37 male. Ex-brother-in-law, now thinking he is getting a free ride, decides to take out a bunch of loans and open a gym while being supported by sister-in-law. She has a well-paying job. They live rent-free for 4 years while his gym just bleeds money. Was only open Monday through Thursday 9 to 2 because he liked his free time. After 4 years, grandfather asks for them either to buy the house or start paying rent. Since they couldn't afford the house, they rented out the basement for $1,300 a month while only paying $1,000 a month in rent, pocketing $300 a month on a property they don't own. Well, sadly, last year my girlfriend's grandfather passed away, so the company and his assets were to be liquidated and sold. This included the house. Sister-in-law and ex-brother-in-law were given first chance to buy the house, but couldn't afford it due to all the debt. Now, it just so happened my girlfriend and I were looking to buy, and we thought, what a great opportunity. We even offered to rent to them for under market value so they wouldn't have to move, and we would live in the basement. My girlfriend's father even offered them $900 a month for the first year to help with bills and rent, since the free ride was ending and they weren't prepared. Well, that wasn't good enough for my ex-brother-in-law. He started demanding and threatening they should just get the house. Remember, this is not even his family but his wife's. Sister-in-law, tired of supporting him and his tantrums, leaves him. She understood the situation and was grateful the whole time. Only mistake was her trying to support her husband's dream. Not feeling comfortable, she moves out. Come time for us to take possession, we give him plenty of opportunity and months' notice to leave before we move in. On move-in day, he is still there throwing stuff into the back of his truck. He screams at us for stealing his house while demanding he keeps a key for the garage because that is his storage. We changed locks right after he left. Once he was off the property, we realized he had left the place a disaster, including tons of garbage and belongings scattered everywhere. For months after, he kept threatening us for all we did to him. Trying to be the bigger man, I offered to store his stuff for 2 months while he finds a more suitable place. I should have never done this, but was also trying to help sister-in-law during divorce, as some of the stuff was hers. When he finally came to get his belongings, he refused to take his trailer, loaded up with his stuff, and will sue us if I move it off the property. Fast forward, we got all the belongings settled, but now he is trying to sue his ex-wife, the estate, and us for the house, or at least $50,000 for all the upgrades he put into the house while living there 6 years rent-free. Mind you, no upgrades were actually done, just half-demolished projects. It cost us another $20,000 on top of the sale just to finish everything he destroyed. Kitchen, bathroom, deck, etc. None of these projects were asked to be done by the grandfather. He just wanted them for himself. First of all, I don't believe he's gonna sue, as going to court costs money, and by the looks of it, he doesn't have any. But if he does, OP should countersue him for damages to the property, repair and cleaning costs, unpaid storage fees, and harassment. And now let's hear the community's opinion. Sock full of nickels says, he's too broke to sue you. Have the junk hauled off your property. Lawyers are expensive. It's not his property, and he doesn't live there anymore. I'm not exactly sure, check local laws, but I'm fairly certain you can just have it hauled away. Loki's Construction says, send him a note demanding he remove the property, or you will call a trash company to remove it all. It is not your job to store it or keep it for him, as he was never a tenant of yours. Sounds like a jerk, but if your sister-in-law inherits assets, he can get half, unless it was all inside a trust. Kylie, 28 female, and I, 28 female, have been best friends since we were 8 years old. We met in 3rd grade, and she's been coming over to my family's house almost every holiday every year because she doesn't have parents and grew up bouncing around homes. My mom has even taken her in for months at a time when we were kids, because she'd run away from whatever house she was living in at the time and come to us. My parents are divorced, and I lived with my mom while my older brother Jack, 30 male, lived with Dad. So I was never super close with Jack growing up. Kylie was basically my sister and my mom's second daughter. We ended up going to the same schools and have been best friends for most of our lives. Jack never really paid attention to us when we were kids, because we were his annoying little sister and her little friend. But in our early 20s, Jack and Kylie started dating. I was super against it at first, because I knew it was not going to be good. But they promised that even if it doesn't work out, it wouldn't hurt our friendship. They dated for 3 years and were engaged for a year, but they broke it off because there were compatibility differences. No one cheated or anything wild. It was a tough breakup for both, but they moved on with their lives. They still saw each other at family events because Kylie was always invited, and they just kept a distance, but other than that, it was fine. Now this Thanksgiving, my brother, who got married recently, brought along his new wife to dinner at our mom's house. Kylie was in attendance too. I've met my brother's wife, but she's never been to any of the holiday stuff the last few years because of virus and a few other things, and they also live a few states away. They're moving back to our hometown next year. After Thanksgiving dinner, my brother told me that his wife was extremely uncomfortable when she found out Kylie was also at our dinner, and she is still always included in our family events. He said he knows it's going to be hard, but his new wife is now my family too, so out of respect for her, he wants me to not bring Kylie, who is an outsider, around much anymore when they're around, which will be almost every family event since he and his wife are moving back soon. I've known his wife for a mere 2 years, but I've known Kylie for 20 years. She is not an outsider. He even had the balls to suggest that maybe I shouldn't invite Kylie, who is the maid of honor, to my upcoming wedding next year, and if I do, then he and his wife might not come anymore. I told him I will not stop inviting her, and that he promised their dating history won't come up between our friendship, so he's got to figure it out himself with his wife. My mom, who hosts all our family functions, is staying out of it because this is between her actual son and her unofficial daughter. She's just sad, but staying out of it. My brother hasn't talked to me, and a lot of my family members think I'm being an a-hole. Not gonna lie, it must be awkward as hell for OP's new sister-in-law. However, if they choose to not attend gatherings where Kylie is invited, that's their decision. I also understand OP's brother, as he has to put his wife and her feelings first. I think OP should try talking to his wife and reassure her of how much Kylie means to her, not as an ex-fiancé of OP's brother, but as her friend. Hopefully she will understand. And now let's see if the community agrees with me. Hulalap says, not the a-hole. Your brother needs to grow up and deal with it. His wife needs help and reassurance, and possibly some maturity and empathy to better understand the context and why Kylie was a part of your family long before she dated, got engaged to, and then broke up with your brother. And she will always be important to you and your mom, and vice versa. It's cruel of your brother to put you and your family and Kylie in this position. He needs to own up to his promise, and if he needs to get into therapy with his new wife to help her understand and help the two of them work through it. Tick-tock. If your brother and his wife can't work through this and get over themselves, they can spend the holidays with her family or do separate holidays. I hope that with a lot more context, background, and empathy, your new sister-in-law will chill out and your brother will stop being horrible about this. Ayatin says, not the a-hole. That's an awkward situation, and I feel bad for your brother's wife, but she's going to have to figure out how to get over it. Your brother said he wouldn't let his relationship with Kylie change your friendship with her. He needs to stick to his word. Note RCT says, not the a-hole, but I also wish you the best for this situation, because it is going to be hard to navigate. I completely get your sister-in-law's concern. I would find it really uncomfortable to go to family events and find out my partner's ex-fiancé is there too. But also, this is Kylie and your brother's problem to address. Not just your brother's, Kylie's too. No matter what, this will be crap for you. But both your brother and Kylie put this risk on you when they started dating. Really, you and your sister-in-law are the innocent ones in this situation. For your wedding, of course keep Kylie as your maid of honor. Your sister-in-law and brother can sort that one out. For future family events, I really feel that it is for your brother and Kylie to sort out. They made the decision to date, knowing the consequences to you and your mom if something went wrong. And look, that's what happened. GP, good parent. That's the parent I'm currently living with. BP, bad parent, the one I'm suing. So my parents split up a long while ago, but it didn't really affect me much because I wasn't close to BP. Currently, me and GP are living in a different country, and let me tell you, it's been the best decision GP ever made. The reason BP and I never had a close relationship is that BP had kids from a previous marriage. BP wasn't too keen on working, so GP had to hustle with 2 full-time jobs to keep us afloat and pay child support for GP's other kids. We went through some tough times. GP was always at work, which left me stuck at home with BP. And let me tell you, BP was always tired and wanted me to shut up and stay in my room. But guess what? They were never too tired when my half-siblings came over every other weekend. And the worst part? I wasn't even allowed to hang out with them. BP's excuse was, they're only here every second weekend, so we want to spend that time together. At first, I was excited to have siblings, but soon I realized they didn't see me as family, and BP only had energy and time for them. GP finally had enough and decided to file for divorce, looking for work abroad so we would have a better life together. On the day of the divorce, I had to face BP again after a long time. GP told me it would be the last time I'd see BP before moving abroad, so BP probably wanted to spend some time with me. I wasn't thrilled about it, but I agreed. Can you believe it? BP had already made plans with my step-siblings and just waved at me and left. That's when I made a promise to myself. BP was no longer my parent, and I wanted nothing to do with him. From the day of the divorce until my 18th birthday, BP only paid about a third of the child support ordered by the court. BP would call me once a year on my birthday to say happy birthday, and that was it. I never bothered to call them, and they never bothered to call me. I didn't really care about it. But let me tell you, what BP said on my 18th birthday really ticked me off. They said, "You're 18 now, so you don't need my support anymore. Have a nice life." It wasn't about them not contacting me anymore. It was about GP. BP didn't contribute nearly as much as GP did to support BP's kids. So after talking it over with GP, I decided to take legal action against BP. We hired a lawyer and provided all the necessary bank info and documents. Turns out, BP still owed $12,000. The lawsuit went our way, and I've already received $6,500 of what they owed. At first, I thought that would be the end of it. It's been 3 years since then. But guess what? A few weeks ago, we got some papers from BP's lawyer saying they're suing us to get the money back, claiming we didn't deserve it. That got GP all panicked, so we sent the papers to our lawyer from 3 years ago. The lawyer said it was a baseless claim, and BP wouldn't stand a chance. So GP asked me again what I wanted to do. And you know what I said? If BP wants a fight, then they'll get one. I have no regrets about my decision. I don't give a damn if people think I'm an a-hole. I'm sick and tired of being looked down upon by BP. This money is a huge help for us. Our life abroad is way better than it was back home. We're enjoying our time together. I want to make GP the happiest person on the planet and repay them for everything they sacrificed for me. GP never remarried or got into any other relationships. It's always been just me and GP. So honestly, I don't care if BP's life gets messed up in the process. I don't think OP is in the wrong here. Crappy people deserve to get held accountable for their crappy behavior. Shady Rose 222 says, "Good for both of you. Deadbeat parents should always be held accountable. They owe you every cent of that child support." Moon Aranis says, "I think you're right as a child to say a big duck you to your parents if they deserve it. You owe them nothing. They owe you everything, since it's their decision that placed you on this earth." My mom passed away in 2015, and my dad passed away this past March. I was close with them and missed them a lot. However, we had many disagreements, especially about their business practices. There were many signs that they didn't practice ethical business, and I would try to call them out, but they always denied it and gaslighted me. It was so hard for me to find proof of what they were doing. I've been cleaning out their house since March and have found so much proof, and it's so much worse than I expected. It's changed the way that I view my parents, and even though I still love them because they raised me and gave me unconditional love, I don't like them one bit. Among the things they did was thousands of dollars in tax fraud every year, setting up and plotting to sue corporations, then blackmailing them to settle out of court, sometimes for up to $1 million, applying for scholarships they didn't qualify for, and the worst of it was that they raised donations from family and friends for fake causes and grievances, then kept the money. They left me a good amount of inheritance, but I couldn't morally accept any of it. It's bad enough that I'm profiting off of it anyways, because they paid for my education and upbringing. They kept good records of which family and friends they took money from, so I reached out to those people and returned the money and explained exactly why I was returning it. After everyone I reached out to replies, I plan on donating the rest of it to charity. I told a few of my friends what I was doing, and they said that I shouldn't have exposed my parents because they're dead and have no way of defending themselves and can't hurt anyone anymore. They said that my family and friends had voluntarily given the money, and it would have caused them less pain if I had never told them and donated all the money to a good cause. I see where they're coming from, and I can be too honest sometimes. But putting myself in their shoes, I would really appreciate being told the truth. I will 100% admit that this is partly to repent from unwittingly financially benefiting from these crimes for the last 25 years. So far, I've only received positive reactions from the people that I've offered to return their money. To be honest, I don't think anyone is too shocked, just surprised at the scale at which it happened. I don't think OP is in the wrong here. I get OP's parents can't defend themselves, but, they're gone. That doesn't mean OP should have to protect them from the horrible choices they made. OP is doing a good thing, and obviously for the ones being hurt by it. And now let's hear the community's opinion. Final Commission says, not the a-hole, but it seems to me that if you have evidence of tax fraud, you should consult with a lawyer to make sure that the estate can't be held liable before you donate the rest of the funds after giving stuff back to family and friends, just to make sure you can't be gone after later. Starfleet Auxiliary says, not the a-hole, but you absolutely need to consult a lawyer due to the potential liability of the estate to multiple litigants. Outside Question says, not the a-hole. While I understand why people can feel uncomfortable exposing dead people, being dead doesn't magically exonerate you for all the crappy things you did in life. Their legacy and the memories people have of them will be irreparably tainted, but that is due to their own selfish and immoral behavior.